What's up, y'all? Another change of plans. The motorcycle's gone. Sold it. Decided it needed more work than what I was hoping for. And it was pointless anyway. They'll have a motorcycle. So, sold it. Got a nice chunk of change in my pocket. And I've changed plans. Derby car will not be going till Labor Day. That car, there's just not enough car to run a big mini car show like Labor Day. So it's going to go to Chandler, most likely. So Labor Day is also running mowers. They're running mods, which I don't have a mod no more. Not a big deal. They're running youth stocks, and they're running regular adult stocks. I could run that because it's ready to run, but I really want to save that for Corey. So how about we do a 2-for-1 deal? How about we build one, and I'll share everything I do to it, and I run this thing. That way you can see how it does. So I'll build everything on camera with this. Here's what we're starting with. Just drug it around back. I'm getting ready to actually clean it off and start on it. It's a Craftsman. It is a in-between year. It's a square body style frame, but it's also a round body because it does have the 2nd gen steering, which is why I picked this one. So it's got the good steering. The front pivot's a little on the weak side with these rounder bodies, but that's alright because I can always swap that front pivot out with a square body pivot, which is sitting right there. Not like I really care anything. I'm just going to slap this one together. Yeah, very basic. So I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to strip all this old wiring off, get rid of it. I'm going to, since I pulled this rear end from the mod, I'm going to put this rear end under it most likely, because that rear end's ready to go. It's open diff. You know, it's not posi locked or anything, but whatever. I'm just going to throw this one together and show you what you can do with just a very basic, simple build. So this is going to be like a basic competitive mower that any one of y'all could build. This isn't going to be like all out balls to the wall build like that one. That one's set up pretty good. Even though it's really not much different than what I'm going to show you with this one. So yeah. So let's get started. So this one's probably going to be a longer video, because I'm going to try to keep this in segments so I can edit it together and make one big video out of it, of the whole build of this piece of junk. So let's get to it. And there you go, it's stripped. Just go down and clean it for the most part. Get as much as junk off I can so I can easily build. Took all the wiring off. I still got to pull this starter solenoid here off, but for the most part stripped. So there's a whole wiring harness. A couple other small things. Really not a whole lot on this one. It was pretty well stripped anyway. The motor was already gone. Rear end was already gone. You don't have to strip it this far, but this is stuff I like to do. Next I'm going to go ahead and pull this starter solenoid off because there's no telling if it's any good or not. I'm going to go ahead and get this deck handle here out. Get it out of my way. And then I'm going to get the rear end mounted. I'll probably get the rear end mounted tonight and might go ahead and throw a motor on it tonight. And then I'll come back in the morning and work on it some more. So yeah. And there you go. Rear end's in it. Got that little bit of stancer. I did go ahead and take the rear fender and tilted it down. That's why you're seeing this fender line here tilted down. That's why the seat looks lower. Yeah, it's a little wider than I would like, but it shouldn't be too tippy. Yeah. And how do you tilt the fenders down? Well, on all Craftsmans, they have this little bracket here to go in between the fender and the frame that bolts down. Well, you take this out, drop the fenders all the way down, and just drill you a couple of holes to bolt your fender straight to the frame. And then you have to put a new bolt, nut and bolt, on the springs. So therefore, it drops it quite a bit. So now the seat is sitting, probably 3 inches lower now, which got more of a go-kart feel. So I should be able to grip it pretty good, and since the rear end's a lot wider than I normally run, it shouldn't flip over. It's open diff, so I'm not going to be doing donuts or anything, so it should handle alright. I don't plan on going crazy with the gearing on this anyway. So there's the rear end. On to the next part. Yep, now on to the motor. I'd like to run this motor, but I just ran into a huge problem. The spark plug protector I have for the 10, 11, 12 horse Briggs right here won't work on this motor. Because the new gens, when you take this shield here off, it's got that little boss right here, and these bosses here, they both stick out much further. So that won't work with that spark plug protector, which means I'd have to build one for this motor, or go to plan B and run the old raffle mowers motor. It's already got a spark plug protector on it, and it's already got a kill switch, and it's a reliable motor. So I think I'm going to switch it over to that one, because the governor is the exact same, which means my governor override, that bolts right here, all I would have to do is unbolt this, bring it over to this one since it's the same style, and drill 2 bolt holes and bolt it right up. It'd be real simple. Hopefully that motor stays together if I do that. But yeah, there's the motor option. So I think that's it for day 1. See you on to day 2. Yep, on to the next thing. Working on drivetrain. Yep, go ahead and swap the motor out. The old good old raffle mowers engine. 8 horse Briggs, can't go wrong with them. And it's already got that spark plug protector on it. It's tried and true. As you can tell how beat up it is. I think it's got some history on it. Motor is on. Kill switch is mounted. Throttle is, or the governor is hooked up. Governor bypass is hooked up. Come around yonder. Yep, here you go. Here's how I set my governor bypass up. Just a regular old bike brake lever, bike brake cable, coming around to a bracket here off this here that bolts to the governor. So all I gotta do is bolt, drill 2 holes and bolt it right up. Comes right around the governor arm. So this still works. See, fully functional. See, the key is when you loop this around, you give it plenty of slack so this governor can do whatever it wants. And then when you hit your governor override, it takes the slack out and it pulls it. There's actually not as much pull on this one as there should be, but it's good enough. It'll work just fine. And of course, the motor running, it'll automatically pull that right back because this is under tension. Supposed to anyway. But yeah, that's how I did it. Just real simple. That way I got governor and governor override. Yeah. There's that part. And I've already made my pulleys and start going through belts. So let me tip this up and we'll come right back. Here you go. Here's the underside of the beast. Running the stock clutch. I will be adding another spring to this clutch. So you got one spring right here, your factory spring. Yeah, you may not be able to see it because it's dark, and yeah, there's a spring right there. I will be adding another spring to this. I still got to add the brake rod down to the back brake. Man, it's dark. I am running a 5-inch engine pulley to a 6-inch transmission pulley. These pulleys are, let me pull this off. These are from Rural King. These are the ones where you get the outer ring. Yep. You get the outer ring and then you buy the center hub. It is a 2-piece setup. So you buy these two separate. It's about 16 bucks altogether. And then you weld it. That way you can get unlimited pulley combinations, unlimited center combinations. I think it's 1 inch for the engine and I think 5/8, I think, don't quote me on it, for the transmission, give or take. That's the pulleys I run. 5 up front, 6 in the rear, and it seems to work out just fine for me. It's a little bit more much for an 8 horse, but it's not bad. Now I'm getting ready to set up the belt. Here is the stock belt out of Craftsman. It was just a tad bit too long. So I took an old junk belt that was broke. Focus. Come on. Focus. You piece of junk. There we go. Yeah. Broken belt. Just take and zip tie it together to get your the proper length you need. So here's with the clutch in. I should have plenty of slop in there to slip it. Now I'll pull that. Undo the parking brake. And watch this. Clutch all the way in. Letting it out about halfway. You want the pedal about halfway. And that is perfect. And you better, if you do this, make sure your zip ties are good and tight or it'll pop this loose. But there you go. About halfway is about right. Then you push your clutch in, it should have plenty of slop. Let me set my parking brake back. That way it's not pulling on that belt. There. And why I set my clutch about halfway is because on a new belt, it will break in. And it will, you know, make your clutch come back a little bit. So when you put your clutch in, you're going to have even more slop in the belt. Which, belt guides are next. So I'll show you how I do my belt guides. Real simple. I just take them, weld a bolt off here and bend it over on 3 spots on the engine pulley. Then in the back I'll run about the same setup with a piece that comes off the frame here over to hold that. Probably 3 spots in the rear too. But I'll probably go ahead and get the new belt first. That way I can actually put some tension on this and let it set. So that way I know exactly where I need it. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, here's how you do your belts, Logan. Just like that. That's how you get proper size. And I'll show you belt guides too, so stay tuned for the next clip. Alright, got an update on the belt situation. I was not able to run the pulley setup I wanted. Like I said in the previous clip, that I normally run a 5 on the engine, 5-inch pulley on the engine, and a 6-inch on the transmission. Here's the 5-inch that I had on the motor. Wasn't too happy with the gearing. That was actually, with these taller tires, a bit way too much. And also another big factor why I changed the pulley ratio. The belt I had gotten was actually a tad bit too tight, so it wasn't fully disengaging with the clutch. It was grabbing. So I went ahead and stuck a tried and true snapper pulley. A rear engine rider snapper pulley. These things are tried and true. It's a 4-inch pulley. You cannot go wrong with these. Focus. Damn it. Yeah, so with this pulley here, the way it's designed, I don't need a belt guard whatsoever. Because that belt, there's no way that belt's falling off this pulley. Which is awesome. These are worth saving. I got several of these. So there's that. And belt guides. Since that one didn't need one. Belt guide in the rear, real simple. Hopefully you can see this. It's just a piece, an old belt guide from another mower. Just welded to the side of the frame. Comes to within, you know, a little bit of a gap there, not much. Same thing with this side. You can't really see it too well, but there's another piece welded off. Just right there. That way the belt won't slide off. So that solves that. There you go. There's your belt setup. On to the next thing. As you can see, I have been busy. So, next clip. Alright. Here's the exhaust done. This is what I did with my exhaust. Here's how I like to run them. I used to run stacks until they started tearing my engines up, because they would literally get ripped off the hood and the bent side and just tear the block all up. So now I start running these downpipes. They sound just fine. They don't get hit. And they work. They actually make the motor perform the way it's supposed to. These are the 7/16 bolts for the 8-horse Briggs. The 10, 11, 12 takes the bigger 5/16 bolts. This pipe here, going with the snapper theme, this is one of the snapper U-pipes that would bend around and the muffler would be bolted on. I actually have one right over here. There's the pipe right there. There's your typical snapper rear engine rider pipe. What I do is I cut it right there, twist it, and weld it back together, and I just cut the end off and weld a pipe onto there. And that's how I make my headers. I like them, they sound unique. And I just run a piece of pipe down here, then I 45 it and kick it out. And I just use some mechanics wire or baling wire or whatever the hell you want to call it. Some right there to allow some flex. So that way it doesn't, you know, tear up my motor. But there you go, there's typical exhaust. Very simple, very effective, and works. On to the next one. Alright, on to the hoods. This is not my normal way I do the hood, but it will work. This is an MTD hood. It will fit a Craftsman, but it has to bolt to the top of the frame. So it's got 3 bolts behind here, bolting it to the top of the frame. Normally I would bring this hood down and just run some bolts straight through the front, through the frame, to hold it better. 'Cause this way here, it may shear the bolts off and, you know, collapse up into the engine. So this here is really just a wild card the way this is mounted. It's not how I normally do it, but this will get you by and it will do fine. Because with a Craftsman, you are hitting with the frame most of the time. Weld all my hood seams up so it's all one piece. Bolts to the column. Few spots. You can use self-tapping screws, but I like the bolts because they don't work their way loose. Because mostly I don't want this ear here to come out into my leg. That's a bit dangerous. I had to notch this for the leg guard, which is in the beginning stage. And something I do that no one else does, I cut a hole out on the top of the hood. I do this for multiple reasons. The first main reason why I cut the hole out, sometimes I just be a small hole, but I've been starting these big holes. Makes it so much easier to get to your oil. Makes it easier to get to your gas tank. I can also get to my pull rope if I need to. I can also look down here, watch my engine, see exactly what it's doing, and see how far the hood's coming in. So I can, you know, it serves a lot of purposes. And plus, this part of the hood here never really bends much. It's always the sides that blow out. As you can see, I still got to weld this seam up. It's not done yet. But yeah, that's why I do that. That's basically how I set my hoods up. I got to pull this out a little bit more to keep this from, when it starts moving, these sides are bad about going in and hitting the carburetor and tearing stuff up. So I pull these here, kink them outwards. So when this does start pushing back, it'll blow these sides outwards and away from the motor. Because you gotta be very careful, because sometimes they will get into the fuel line and cut your fuel lines. Especially on the square body Craftsman hoods, they're bad about that. But it should be a fairly strong hood. I'm thinking about actually creasing it right along here a little bit. Give it a little bit of strength. But it should be alright. I ain't too worried about it, because with a Craftsman, you're hitting with the front of the frame mostly. And this here is just mostly protecting the engine a bit. It's not going to matter much. Unless you drop the hood down, then it helps quite a bit. But this is just going to be a basic for y'all. So there's basically how I did the hood. Really nothing special. Just simple. Just bolted down good. Alright. And there you go. Leg guards are done. Very simple. Just some 2x2 angle iron. Just very simple. I figured it'd be a lot stronger than that C channel. That should work just fine. After all, it's a stock class mower and it really doesn't need anything crazy for leg guards. This worked really well because I got plenty of room for my clutch pedal to work. Awesome. So yeah. There's your basic leg guards. That's really all you need right there. That's it. I got plenty of room for my legs. I might throw a little bit of a padding on there, a pull noodle. Yeah, there's that. The back bar, or sissy bar. Hold on, let me grab a light. You can't really see too well. Oh. Yeah. See, more 2x2 angle iron. Just weld it up. Very, very basic. Weld it down to the hitch. Very simple. Now I do need to take these corners here, and I'm going to either cut them off or I'm going to bend them down and weld them. But I will neaten those up because those are kind of pointy and dangerous. Very, very basic. Very simple. And very effective. Got a little bit of rim. Of course, this is going to... My seat's probably going to hit, but it's just below the seat, which is where I want it. And that should be just fine for what I need to protect my back. And also the good thing, when you do the back bar like this, you can now stand the mower up on end for storage. If it balances right anyway, but usually it does, so, which is a bonus. Yeah, there you go. There's the back guard and the leg guard's done. I just finished welding the rest of the hood seam up, so the hood is pretty well done. So I think now it's just about ready for paint. One quick note, I will not be running a battery on this, mostly because I can't put it back in a stock location because the fenders drop down and the battery be on the pulley. I can't put the battery here where I normally would because of the stupid shifter. And I can't put it down here in the floorboard because there's just no room. I could probably make it work, but it's pointless. I got pull rope, and this motor's reliable and always starts, so I'm just gonna run pull rope. Simplified. Just a simple on off toggle switch for a kill switch, and that's it. So there. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and paint it and see what it looks like. So see you in the next one. Alright, here it is, freshly painted. I think it's pretty much ready to go. There's a few things I'd like to change, but they're really not a big deal. It should do alright. Very basic. Anyone could throw one of these together pretty quick if you got a welder and plenty of material to work with. You can go a lot more simpler on it, but for the most part, it's ready. I'm still debating if I want to weld this front pivot here up. I think I might throw a quick tack weld on that. Other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. No battery. Just going to use the old tried and true pull start. Got the gas tank in. Runs, moves. It's pretty peppy, not bad. I'm still wary of that motor because it does have a knock in it, but I'm pretty sure it's the crank. It's got some wear on the crank and not the rod itself. So it should be alright. Yeah, it should do alright. Fun little toy. So there you go. I will, if I have any more on it, I will post another clip. But until then, it's pretty much ready to go. There's your how-to.